One of these artists won a prestigious Pulitzer Prize. One had the federal government personally responding to his album with an official letter. One broke the glass ceiling to become the first verified hip-hop billionaire. And tragically, two of them died before they even reached their 26th birthdays, leaving holes in the culture that have never fully recovered. These are the 10 most important hip-hop artists of all time. Let us get directly into it. Before Run-DMC emerged from Queens, hip-hop was primarily a localized neighborhood phenomenon. After them, it became a massive global movement. They were the historic first rap group to grace the cover of Rolling Stone, the first to achieve official platinum status, and the first to perform live on American Bandstand. Their iconic 1986 collaboration with Aerosmith on Walk This Way was the first massive crossover moment of that scale, introducing the genre to a massive mainstream rock audience that had never paid attention before. By wearing minimalist Adidas tracksuits and thick shell toe sneakers completely without laces, they forged a signature street aesthetic. Their subsequent partnership with Adidas was the first major endorsement deal between a hip-hop act and a commercial sportswear brand, opening a financial door that has never closed. Every modern sneaker collaboration and high-profile brand deal traces right back to what Run-DMC built, permanently making hip-hop visible to the entire world. LL Cool J was the undisputed first true hip-hop superstar, operating as a genuine mainstream American celebrity rather than a regional name. As the very first artist officially signed to Def Jam Records, his debut single, I Need a Beat, sold over 100,000 copies in its first week back in 1984, a feat completely unheard of for rap at the time. He single-handedly proved that hip-hop could seamlessly produce a charismatic sex symbol, a pop crossover sensation, and a serious, respected lyricist all in one single package. His career longevity remains absolutely remarkable, stretching from dominant radio play in 1985 to major Grammy wins in the 90s, a starring role on primetime television for over a decade, and a prestigious Kennedy Center honor, the foundational blueprint for the modern hip-hop entertainer who transitions into a multifaceted global brand, starts directly with LL Cool J. Before Rakim stepped to the microphone, rap was largely centered around high-energy delivery and straightforward party rhymes. After Rakim, the entire art form shifted completely to complex lyricism. When Eric B. and Rakim dropped their seminal album Paid in Full in 1987, the hip-hop landscape had never heard anything like it. He introduced a measured, incredibly relaxed flow, intricate internal rhyme schemes, and a calm, hypnotic confidence that stood in stark contrast to the shouting style of his peers. He proved that quiet authority could be infinitely more powerful than screaming into a microphone. Foundational titans like Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, and Eminem have all explicitly cited Rakim as their primary technical blueprint. He single-handedly raised the technical standard of what rap could be, forcing every lyricist who followed to chase the incredible structural bar he set. Ice Cube possesses one of the most politically charged and fiercely influential pens in music history. As the primary mastermind and writer for NWA, he single-handedly authored Straight Outta Compton, an album so brilliantly raw and confrontational that the FBI actually sent an official letter to their record label expressing severe government concern. His subsequent solo run, consisting of America's Most Wanted, Death Certificate, and The Predator, is widely considered the greatest three-album run in the history of West Coast hip-hop. His vivid writing captured the anger, systemic frustration, and daily reality of Black life in Los Angeles with the absolute precision of a seasoned investigative journalist. He then successfully transitioned into film as a writer, actor, and producer, proving that his artistic voice could dominate multiple mediums at an elite level. There is a valid version of this conversation where Nas is placed at the absolute #1 spot, and that is due to the sheer flawlessness of Illmatic, released in 1994 when Nas was just a 20-year-old prodigy. The album features 10 perfect tracks spanning under 40 minutes with absolutely zero filler. Every single bar landed with the immense weight of lived street experience, painting a cinematic portrait of Queensbridge, New York that was so detailed it ironically became universal. It allowed listeners who had never been near those housing projects to understand exactly what it felt like to survive there. Years later, in 2001, he dropped Ether, a devastating diss track that permanently added a new verb to the global hip-hop vocabulary. Whenever the conversation turns to pure, unadulterated lyrical ability, Nas permanently sits at the head of the table. Coming out of Detroit as a white rapper, Eminem faced immense initial skepticism from a culture rooted in the Black experience. What he did instead was dismantle every doubt by becoming one of the absolute greatest to ever touch a microphone, based purely on undeniable merit. The Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers LP, and the Eminem Show form one of the most commercially and critically successful 3-album runs in history. His technical ability, defined by staggering internal rhymes, intricate syllable manipulation, and rapid-fire precision, completely pushed the boundaries of what was considered humanly possible in the recording booth. Beyond the technical skill, he brought an autobiographical, self-destructive rawness regarding addiction and family dysfunction that resonated deeply with millions outside of hip-hop's traditional base, making him the best-selling rap artist of all time. This specific slot belongs equally to 2 legendary men, because you simply cannot tell the story of hip-hop's most important era without examining both of their lives simultaneously. Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. completely defined the mid-1990s in a way that no 2 musical artists have ever duplicated. Tupac was a mesmerizing, explosive cultural force that the music industry and American society genuinely did not know how to contain. Albums like Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me showcased an artist possessing a profound emotional range, immense vulnerability, and sharp political consciousness. He was only 25 years old when he was tragically killed, yet the massive, prophetic body of work he left behind was already monumental. Biggie, on the other hand, was the purest, most effortless natural MC talent the genre has ever produced. Ready to Die and Life After Death displayed a visual storyteller with impeccable timing, a smooth as silk flow, and a gift for painting gritty street narratives with a breathtaking cinematic detail. He was just 24 when his life was cut short. These 2 generational giants were both taken before their 26th birthdays, victims of a toxic East Coast versus West Coast rivalry that left permanent craters in the culture. Hip-hop tragically received its Mozart and its Beethoven at the exact same time, only to lose them both within a 6-month window, embedding a permanent sense of grief into the very DNA of the music. Drake stands as the most commercially dominant and numerically successful rapper to ever live, a fact backed by astronomical streaming figures, historic chart records, and an unprecedented global reach. He comfortably holds the record for the most Billboard Hot 100 entries of any artist in music history across any genre. But his true importance goes far beyond standard sales data. He fundamentally shifted what rap was culturally allowed to be about. When Drake emerged in the late 2090s, overt vulnerability was widely considered completely unacceptable in hip-hop. Talking candidly about intense heartbreak, emotional insecurity, and relationship anxiety was simply not what top-tier rappers did. Drake did it anyway, and the entire industry quickly adjusted to his blueprint. The singing and rapping hybrid style that completely dominated the subsequent decade was mainstreamed by his influence. He also single-handedly put Toronto on the global hip-hop map, creating a massive commercial ecosystem for an entirely new market. While his historic 2024 feud with Kendrick Lamar publicly humbled his legacy, his 15 years of absolute cultural and commercial dominance remain entirely undeniable. Kendrick Lamar is the most profoundly important active artist in hip-hop history. His 2012 major label debut, Good Kid, MAAD City, was a brilliant cinematic achievement disguised as a rap album, blending autobiography with intense social commentary. He followed it with To Pimp a Butterfly, a jazz and funk-infused masterpiece analyzing Black identity and systemic American history that ultimately won the historic Pulitzer Prize for Music. It marked the first time a non-classical, non-jazz work had ever received that honor in American history. He then took his cultural status to an entirely new stratosphere during his historic feud, culminating in Not Like Us, a track so structurally brilliant it transformed a lethal diss record into a multi-Grammy-winning, chart-topping global anthem. He solidified this cultural shift by performing as the solo headliner for the Super Bowl halftime show in front of over 133 million viewers. Kendrick Lamar does not just release music, he delivers dense, masterfully constructed arguments about race, artistic authenticity, and the heavy burden of carrying a conscience, cementing one of the most flawless bodies of work in human history. There was simply never going to be any other artist sitting at the #1 spot. Jay-Z's immense importance to hip-hop operates on two distinct levels simultaneously: the master artist and the grand architect, and his execution of both is entirely extraordinary. As a pure artist, his 1996 debut Reasonable Doubt instantly established him as the sharpest street narrator in the game, a standard he solidified with The Blueprint, one of the greatest albums ever pressed to vinyl. His pen effortlessly combined raw street realism with a brilliant businessman's analytical precision, yielding a legendary career that has remained deeply relevant for 3 decades. But it is his work as a cultural architect that permanently separates Jay-Z from everyone else on this list. He used music as a strategic launching pad to build a literal empire, founding Rockefeller Records, Roc Nation, and investing heavily in tech, fine art, and luxury goods to become hip-hop's very first verified billionaire. He successfully turned cultural influence into massive generational wealth, creating the exact modern blueprint for what a rap career can look like far beyond the recording booth. If hip-hop is a global corporation, Jay-Z is its permanent chief executive officer. That is our definitive list of the 10 most important hip-hop artists of all time, the true pioneers who did not just release great music, but fundamentally sculpted what the entire global culture became. Drop a comment right below to tell me who you think got absolutely robbed, and let me know if Jay-Z thoroughly deserves that #1 spot, or if someone else should be sitting on the throne. Hip-hop fans are not known for staying quiet, and I am entirely here for the debate. We drop a brand new episode every single Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe right now so you never miss what is coming next. We will see you on the very next breakdown.